Welcome, everybody. I always wondered if that intro is too short. Kind of flies by real quick, but then I think don't make it too long because you don't want to see an intro. You tuned in to see the show. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Episode 36, my round 14 followers. Moving right along. It's going well. And this week we have no other than Mr. Rick Babcock as our. Oh, maybe we don't. Maybe we have Steve Rogers.
Yo, Sophia.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, obviously Rick saw the show last week where Sophia and I talked about Marvel. That is awesome, man.
I
Look
made
at
this
that.
years and years and years
Oh, you
ago.
made it?
I made it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As much as a Batman fan, I am number two would be Captain America.
Oh, that's so funny. Again, my brother. Same with
I
me.
know, yeah.
Same with me. I love Cap.
Parallel lines.
That is so cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell her to tune in. Well, she watches the show anyway, but she'll see that. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. I have
How
the
you
mask.
doing? All right?
I'm doing good. I have the Captain America mask, but it was a busy day, so I couldn't even go dig it out.
Oh, okay.
I was going to really shock her.
We could do that another time. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, she's always wanted to go to like San Diego Comic-Con and dressed, of course.
Oh my God.
And I said to her, we can one year. I mean, it's a crazy nutcase show, but we can. It'll be fun. We went to a Comic-Con when we saw Carl Weathers.
Okay.
But that was a little bit of a different Comic-Con. It wasn't as intense as obviously everybody knows San Diego is the Super Bowl of Comic-Cons.
Oh, sure.
So, it's a little busy, but so we got our fitness challenge going on, right? Let me throw that up there. Don't read.
What's
That
that?
was supposed to say fitness challenge. I said that was supposed to say fitness challenge, not be the intro again.
Okay.
But I don't have my contacts in, so that goes to show you what happens.
Well, there you go.
So you text me a few days ago. You're making some progress, my friend. That's awesome.
I am. I'm down a couple pounds.
Good.
I've lost, doing the measurements, I've lost, like a quarter inch or no, 3/4 of an inch off my stomach and
nice
half inch off my chest and gained a quarter on the buys. But I overall, just feeling a lot better,
That's awesome.
Perfect. No,
well, that's what we're doing it for, like we said, to have better health, feel better, look better, think better.
I find myself, I've been doing, like I told you before, I've been doing a lot of flooring. So, I find myself being able to get up and down a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And also I found that, stretching is a very what's the word I'm looking for? Underestimated or
underrated?
There you go. Thank you. An underrated part of exercise. And guys like you and I, we're stocky. We shop in the Husky section. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, I went to a knee surgeon. I thought for sure I had torn something. And he just looks at me and he's like, let me see you do a couple of these, this bend and that bend. And he's like, yeah, he goes, you know what? You need to stretch your legs. He's like, your legs are just like this. Yeah. And since I've been doing that, I found that my knee pain has subsided some.
Well, that's good.
Just by stretching too. So
that's great. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I don't do any stretching at all. Very, very little and light stretching I do, and I should. We watch our Rocky movies and we don't see him doing any stretching. So he does that, other than a quick little knee bend on the bricks there before he runs.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, but not to say that he didn't stretch. Of course, he probably did.
Right.
But I'm in the same boat with you, man. I get it. Well, I am not in the same boat with you though. I'm making nice progress. As everybody knows, I've been away on vacation. We went to Memphis. And I was eating some good barbecue down there, up there. And
there you go, baby.
Yeah, I didn't lose inches. I didn't gain pounds, so that's good.
That's all.
But I also didn't really make any progress. So hopefully we'll be making some more progress this week.
Flat is better than up.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get worse. I didn't get better, but I did eat some good food. I'll tell you that.
That's all right.
I had to watch Rocky 2 today. I was watching it to get a little motivation in me.
Motivation.
To get back to the gym. And I did go back today.
Good.
I did get back today. It was a little tough. It was a little
Oh
tough.
yeah. Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing and just keep moving forward. So watching
Absolutely.
that gets me going. So I've been like, I don't know, you know how you go on some kicks sometimes with
Mhm.
which Rocky you kind of put on out of
Yeah.
nowhere. I mean, I do anyway. I don't know if you do.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah. You're one day you're like, "Ah, I'm gonna watch Balboa, and the next time like I'm
mhm,
in the mood for Five or
mhm.
one, the original. You're all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah. I don't have. I just have no rhyme or reason behind them. I just all of a sudden
Yeah.
just put one on. So I was watching that and got me, that gets you going. Adrian telling them
Absolutely.
when and get that workout, the training sequence there, training montage. So it got me pumped up before I went to the gym. So it was good. And then of
Sure.
course, you know, 99% of my training playlist is Rocky soundtrack. So
Well, I
there's
was
a
I was just gonna say whenever when I'm down here working out, it's the same CD. I'm surprised the thing still plays. It's just the Rocky Balboa soundtrack from
yeah,
Balboa.
yeah.
It's just got the best of, and yeah, it's just that's
Love
it.
it. Love it.
That's
It
it.
just gets me going. And every time I see it, I not every time, I shouldn't say that, but most of the times when I see one
Yeah.
of the Rockies, it dawns on me that he wasn't supposed to play Rocky, or that's not supposed to. I changed that. I rephrased that. He was supposed to play Rocky. The studios didn't want him to play Rocky.
Right. There were other
Um,
fellas in the
yeah, and I
mix.
just couldn't. I still to this day, I think you take out Sly and or Bill Conti's music, and
Not
you
the
do
same
not
thing.
have the same movie.
No. No
You don't.
way. There's no way.
I mean, it was supposed to be. We all know the list: James Caan, Ryan O'Neal, Burt Reynolds. Uh, those were the big ones. James
Mhm.
Caan, Ryan O'Neal, Burt Reynolds. There was somebody else. I
There
forget
was another
who.
guy who they said, you and I had discussed about, take a look at Lords of Flatbush
Yeah,
and
right. Perry
you know,
King.
Perry King.
Yeah, take a look at him. And I
It,
mean,
it,
they wanted the star appeal. They, they
sure.
they liked what the script was. They wanted the star appeal, and at the time, Burt Reynolds, James Caan, and Ryan O'Neal. I mean, you couldn't get any bigger, especially
No.
in the mid '70s. So,
Right.
and I love Burt Reynolds. Everybody knows me
Sure.
knows I love Burt, but there's no way in the world he had any business playing that role.
Well, could you imagine
Um,
seeing Bert and Sly switched for Smokey and the Bandit and Rocky? I mean, it just doesn't feel
it
right,
doesn't. It's not. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not the
Even though they drove the same car, Rocky Two and
right,
Bandit. No,
right.
but yeah,
But Bert,
it just couldn't happen. I mean,
yeah,
it's
Bert,
easy to say that after a movie's done and
right.
you see the success behind it, or you look at the appeal of whoever played what role. But I'm sorry, you take out Sly or the music. Like we all know that it was supposed to be Jimi Hendrix for the fight. It was
Yeah,
supposed to be one of the soundtrack pieces. I mean, it just doesn't work,
no,
my
no.
opinion anyway,
I mean,
for what that's worth.
you could be sound asleep in your couch or sound asleep in bed, and all of a sudden Conti comes on somebody somewhere puts it on somehow, and you're like, those bells, that sound. I mean, we were watching a movie the other day, and Deb said to me, "Is like, is that Bill Conti music?" I'm like, "Yeah, very well
Yeah,
could be." I
yeah,
mean, how many, what would composers are known like that?
yeah.
None to me, anyway.
No, I know. I mean, there's a handful that I know of. I mean, you'd have Danny Elfman did a lot of work with the
Oh
Tim
yeah, yeah,
Burton movies.
yeah.
Hans Zimmer did a lot of work,
Okay,
with
okay.
Backdraft and Crimson Tide and the Batman and whatnot. Um, and of course, the great John Williams with Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Jaws.
Oh, okay. Yep,
I
yep.
mean, huge, of course, but
But that's one hand.
it's exactly. First of all, it's one hand. You're right, absolutely. Second of all, when you hear the music like Bill Conti, you instantly know, oh, who it is, because
Sure.
it's when you hear that music in Karate Kid, you know it's Bill Conti. When you hear it in
Right.
Lockup,
Yeah.
you know it's Bill Conti.
Right.
during the football.
That's what we were watching was Lockup.
Oh,
We
during
were
the
watching
football scene.
Lockup. That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
is that Bill Conti? I'm like, boy, it sure sounds like him.
Yep. Sure
You know?
is. Sure
You know?
is during the football scene.
Yeah. And then, how many of them, and you know this, and all the Rocky fans know this as well and whatnot, is when you hear it, you can just see it in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever song is being played,
Yeah.
you can go right to that scene.
Yeah.
And you're playing it just like you're watching it on TV. It's right there.
But it definitely kicks you in gear. That's for sure.
It sure does. It sure does. Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine Sly not playing that. Right. And of course, if he didn't play the role, we would never be the wiser. I mean, it never would have happened. Stallone would have never became the icon that he is. Right. And we would have maybe never saw Rocky 2.
I agree with that.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think there would have been any sequels at all.
Yeah.
You know what? There probably would have been a Rocky 2 because well, you know what? No, I'm going to take that back, because would it have even been as successful if there was someone else in that role? Would it have been nominated for Academy Awards like it was? I mean, everybody was nominated. Yeah, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. I mean, they were all over the board. Everybody was on there.
What a shame he didn't get it.
I know, it really is. I mean, Sly was nominated. Burt Young was nominated. Talia Shire was nominated. Burgess Meredith was nominated. John G. Avildsen was nominated. Best Picture, Best Director. So who knows? Would that have even happened?
Right.
Or would it have been just another film that was made in the 70s that was, it was all right.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I was looking, looking at some stuff, and I saw that like Tom Selleck was thought about for Han Solo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And also Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, actually, here we go. We got Indiana Jones. Now this one, you could almost see it happen.
Yeah.
They both got the rugged look. They're both macho guys. They're both tall, good-looking guys. I honestly think if Tom Selleck would have done Indy, it would have been as successful.
Okay.
He was locked into his contract with Magnum, so he couldn't film he didn't have the time to go film Indiana Jones.
Right.
So he couldn't do it. But then you have other roles where, thankfully, there's actors that are intelligent enough to realize they have no business taking the role. This one here, Jack Nicholson, was offered the role of Michael Corleone. And Nixon himself said, I have no business playing this role. This doesn't fit me.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw it. Thank God.
Right.
I mean, it's again, I could never have imagined The Godfather with Michael Corleone as Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah.
But again, they were going for the star power. That was in 73, 72. Right. Going for that star power. Nicholson at that time, Chinatown, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, yeah.
He was huge.
Oh, yeah.
He was
not
huge.
much bigger out there,
But yeah, I could see Tom Selleck doing Indy. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the Chip and Dale cartoons. And now you look back and you see one of them's dressed like Indiana Jones, the other one's dressed like Magnum PI. And, now you put two and two together, and you're like,
I know. Oh. Now I know why.
Oh, I know. There it is.
That's funny.
Kind
of subliminal things in there.
Yeah,
Some of the roles, like you said, you could see somebody switching up. I mean, I know that Jim Carrey was offered the role in Elf that Will Ferrell took. Now, we all know Jim Carrey's work. We all know. I could probably see that. I could see that being successful. Yeah. He's a goofball comedian doing goofy things. I mean, Will Ferrell nailed it. Don't get me wrong. One of my all-time favorite Christmas films.
Sure. We just got through watching what's the one with Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Bruce Almighty.
Right.
Bruce Almighty. And then and then we watched the next one, which was Evan Almighty. I'm telling you.
And Steve Carell.
I just laugh till I cry when he's going like this, and he's making Steve Carell do all this stuff. It's so stupid.
But see,
and
that's what
laugh
I mean.
till
You could
cry.
see you could see him playing Elf. You could see that,
Yeah,
definitely being a possibility, and it probably would have been as successful.
sure.
You get some other roles though. I don't know. I mean, everybody. I shouldn't say everybody when I say this, but a lot of people know Tom Cruise was offered the role, or not offered, but almost played Iron Man instead of Robert Downey Jr. And we all know Robert Downey Jr. had his issues before they offered him Iron Man. He had a lot of
Right.
legal issues, a lot of drug issues.
Right.
He went from his 80s heyday, 80s, early 90s heyday to
Sure.
bottom of the barrel. And it's everybody knows the story of his
Sure.
comeback, which is amazing. Good for him. And I love the guy. I think he's a great actor.
Oh yeah, he pulled it together and he made a comeback career.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that one there, I don't particularly see Tom Cruise pulling off the Iron Man. Tony Stark.
No, you like you said earlier, you see these actors in these iconic roles, and it's very difficult to picture anybody else. I mean, could you see Al Pacino, who was almost played in Die Hard, rather than Bruce Willis? John McClane.
Yeah, see, that's
Al Pacino was like.
Do you also know another side note on Al Pacino? He turned down First Blood.
Seriously?
He was offered John Rambo with First Blood. Now, seeing him as a disgruntled soldier, the acting part of it, I could see maybe.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't think we would have had sequels of Mr. Muscle-Bound Rambo if it was Pacino.
Plus, he's such a method actor. I mean,
yeah,
he is like. I go back to what the heck was it? Him with Keanu Reeves. We just watched.
Good film. Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate. I mean,
real good film.
Oh my God! Just the acting methods. The persona. And you look at Bruce Willis, who came from kind of a comedy background.
Mm-hmm. Remember he did Moonlighting and
Moonlighting. Oh, I love that show.
But it's like sometimes when you think about these action or primarily action movies and who it would have gone to, it just doesn't make sense.
No,
but I mean, again, it depends on the year it was made and who was big. I mean, that movie put Bruce Willis on the map.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He
was big with TV with the Moonlighting and Sybil Shepherd and then he got into Planet Hollywood with Sly
and Arnold. Yep.
Then again, I don't even know if was anybody else ever considered for Terminator, but could you see anybody else playing the Terminator?
No.
No,
it just doesn't even make sense.
No,
if anybody else was to play it. I mean, I'm sure there was other actors that were considered because again, it wasn't like Arnold had the A-list movie star pull like he does or did.
Right.
Back in 84 when Terminator, or 83 when Terminator was made, 84 it came out. But he it's just you can't see anybody doing that role. Yeah. Can't. I mean, but it depends on how like if you look at this one here in particular, Michelle Pfeiffer was considered to play Clarice Starling instead of Jodie Foster for Silence of the Lambs. Now, a movie role like that, taking out Hannibal Lecter, I think somebody else could have probably played Clarice, and it wouldn't have made as much of an impact. A good actress. Michelle Pfeiffer's a very good actress.
Sure.
Now, Hannibal Lecter, I don't know who else was offered that role besides Anthony Hopkins, but
wow,
he nailed that.
He nailed it.
One of the scariest guys I've ever seen without really being scary. I mean, he was just an older guy.
Did you ever see Meet Joe Black?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just his, without being redundant or repeating myself, his persona, his method, he's just so there on the zone.
Phenomenal.
The man is just, phenomenal.
But again, you can't see anybody else playing that role. That role is an iconic role. I'm not trying to take away anything from Jodie Foster. She did a phenomenal job. And Clarice Starling was a great character. But
who played her in the second one?
The red-haired actress, Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore.
Yes. Yes, because she
Yeah.
was in the movie with Sly and with Antonio Banderas, the snipers,
Oh,
the killers, oh,
Assassins.
assassins. Thank you.
Mm.
Boy, my brain is. Good thing you're here.
I have a lot of useless information stored up here.
That's okay. Boy, drawing of straws.
Let's see what else we have here. We have Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was offered the role of Ferris Bueller.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
I could see it. I could not see it. You knowing Johnny, he's so intense and acting. I don't know if he could do comedy. Maybe he could.
Well,
mean, both of them
the
good.
kind of the looseness of Matthew Broderick. I don't know
Yeah.
if Johnny could have brought that because Matthew Broderick was just like so. He
Yeah.
played that teenager like a
Oh,
teenager.
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know?
He's devil may care. He's like, yeah, let's just do this. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he could have pulled
it
it
was
off.
tough.
That is a tough
Will
one.
Smith and Will Smith was looked at for the role of Neo in as opposed
in the
to
Matrix,
Keanu
really?
Reeves in the Matrix. Yeah, I mean, it would have brought a different aspect to it. I mean, Will Smith is a great actor. He
Mm-hmm.
so many different ways. But you look at Keanu Reeves, John Wick, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
It's
Neo,
amazing how well he did with John Wick. John Wick was almost like a movie that was just there, and then all of a sudden there was 3 more sequels made, and the movie just keeps going.
yeah,
Good action flick.
it is. It really is. Really
We got
is.
let's see what else we got here. We got Russell Crowe, who was in Gladiator, was supposed to be played by Mel Gibson. So
Okay.
I could see that. They're both intense.
Yeah.
I could see that a little bit.
Braveheart, it's kind of similar,
Similar type.
I could see
This
him
one here
bringing
really
his-
cracked me up. I don't know. I don't think I could see this, but I mean, you never know. They're both such amazing actors. But John Travolta was almost playing Forrest Gump, not Tom Hanks.
That's a tough
I
one
mean,
because Tom Hanks nailed
he's just-
that.
That's a. I mean, he's made a dozen career making movies, but that one,
Sure.
that one's amazing. I mean, and the accent. You know the story about the accent that he does in that film.
I do know that story, but go ahead.
Yeah. He the little boy that portrayed
Yep.
him in the film
Yep.
spoke like that.
Right.
And he basically told the director, Robert Zemeckis, it's going to be easier for me to mimic the kid than for the kid to try to change his accent. Because the kid's a kid. He's not an actor.
Yeah.
So they just went with it. And he went with it from there and did that's the way that little boy sounded.
Right.
So,
I mean, Travolta did a great job. These are some older movies like Michael.
mhm.
And then there was what the heck was the other one? There was Michael where he played the angel.
Yeah, the Archangel.
Yeah, and then there was Phenomenon.
Oh, but now I was about to say the other one where he had like the telekinesis or something going on.
He got struck by lightning or something like that.
Yeah.
And Phenomenon. And could I see it? Yes, but do I think he could have brought the charisma, the whole persona? That's tough because Tom Hanks is like, he's up there.
Oh, he's
on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, you could throw a rock and hit 20 movies that he's done that most actors would give their right leg to have done one of them.
Da Vinci Code.
I mean, you could just keep naming them. You got Philadelphia, you got Forrest Gump, you got Saving Private Ryan, and you could just keep going and going.
Yeah.
All the rom-coms in the 90s. You've got
Bosom Buddies.
And Sleepless in Seattle. Oh, I know. That's started. I remember watching that show.
Yeah.
I remember watching that show. That's where he started.
Yeah, that was a great
And
show.
actually, the guy that played his partner in that, the little short guy?
Yes.
That played his partner there. He gave him a small role in him. You ever see that movie called That Thing You Do?
Yes.
The 60s
I love
band?
that show. Great music.
Yeah.
Great
He
music.
did. Tom Hanks got involved in that. And he gave him a role in that movie. But
He was
I
on,
don't know if I could see Travolta in that though.
Family Ties. I believe he was on Family Ties for a few episodes. He played
Oh,
their
was he?
uncle.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch that show. I know of the show.
Yeah,
Obviously, I
Michael
know
J.
who's in it, what's
Fox.
it about, but
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it. So,
Yeah.
but he was in that.
Yeah, for a few episodes. He played an alcoholic uncle or something like that. But
Oh, did he
you know,
really?
yeah, he was the goofy, he played, like big, kind of thing.
Oh, big. That's
Yeah.
how great is that?
Oh my God,
See, that's a
Hey,
perfect
that was your
example of
stunt double.
how
Your stunt double was in that.
how perfect is that though? That's a perfect example of his acting. Like there's so many scenes in that movie where he is a 12-year-old boy.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, whether it be he's fidgeting with his fingers or he's, doing something or on his bicycle or whatever it is, and he's a grown man. It's
Right.
just such a great film. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Robert Loggia. You guys all tease
Right,
me
there you
about
go.
it.
Your stunt double.
I don't know if I need to I don't know what I need to do to run. I gotta shave my head or something. I don't know.
No, you guys just
Shave
send
off
him
my
your
nose.
picture. Say, hey,
Uh,
I'm ready to do a remake of Over the
oh,
Top.
Robert, he's long gone, my friend.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh, that's too
he
bad.
left us. He left us a few years ago. Not really long,
Oh,
but because I mean he did a little stint in The Sopranos and he did some other older films. He did a movie called Return to Me, and a few of the older movies that he did before he passed. Great actor, great guy.
yes.
My
Yes.
grandfather knew him.
What's that?
He knew him. Yeah, my grandfather knew him.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They grew up in the same neighborhood.
Okay. No
Yeah,
kid.
in New
That's
York.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was he. Every time we saw a movie with Robert Loggia in it, my grandfather would make it a point to let me know that bastard owes me $50
That's awesome.
from a card game. Like, I know, Grandpa. You tell me every time we see the guy.
Oh, that's great. That's great. One I got to throw in, I told my wife I would do this, was that Jane Krakowski auditioned for the role for Rachel in hopes to getting it as opposed to Jennifer Aniston.
Right. Oh, okay. I didn't know where
In
you're going with
Friends. It's
Rachel.
a
See,
TV
Friends
show.
is another one. I didn't watch Friends. I know, of
Okay.
course, of it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
how could you
But I
not?
told her I would say it. So there it is.
So Jane, well, remind me who Jane Krakowski is though, because I know the name. I can't picture her though. What else was she? What did she do?
I don't know. I think I just saw her in a movie. Paul Blart, maybe. I'm not positive. Maybe that wasn't her. But can you?
Jane Krakowski.
I know you're going. We're going off into TV land, but
Oh, okay. I see her. I know. I recognize her. She's a
Okay.
blonde-haired young lady. She was in. I didn't watch this show, but she was in 30 Rock. Ally McBeal.
Okay.
And so, but I do recognize her though. I know who she is.
But could you see?
You know what, though? I could see that. I mean, she's got a similar look and style, like a
Similar, but
girl next
Rachel's
door, like
such a
Jennifer Aniston.
but Rachel's such an
What's that?
iconic actress now, where everyone knows
Yeah.
those six people.
Yeah.
It's again, it just falls into that category of could you see that? No,
Well, that's just like the other characters in Rocky. We can go off on them. I know Lee Strasberg was asked to play Mickey.
Right.
There was another actor, I forget, who was asked to play Mickey. And obviously we know Talia Shire's Adrian role was offered or contemplating to give into Cher and Carrie Snodgrass and Susan Sarandon.
Right.
You can't see any of these young ladies doing that. And no offense to them. It's just, I think that now Burgess Meredith was already a well-known actor.
Right.
When Rocky was made. He was probably the only one.
But didn't he came in because somebody said that they were not going. It was like, I will not audition. I don't read. Do you remember that?
Oh, that was Lee Strasberg. Yeah, that was Lee Strasberg. But I mean, and partially so. It's almost like asking Nicholson to, back then. Strasberg was like this. Strasberg had that acting school, and he was a method actor. He was in Godfather 2. I mean, he's been in so many movies. So partially I could get why, some of these guys saying that, but in the same respect, it was almost a blessing in disguise because I think that that's what that movie needed. I think that it needed nobodies. It needed, it needed people that you didn't, because sometimes when you see these films and the big name is in there, like let's take the Marvel movies for sake of argument.
Sure.
And with the exception of Robert Downey Jr., none of those actors were name actors. Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, all these guys that played all these characters, they were not known actors at the time.
Right. Well, Chris
And
Evans played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four in the first
Right.
one. He wasn't known,
right,
he
but
did.
but aside from Robert Downey Jr., who was only known because of his past,
Right.
he wasn't like a big name movie star, A-lister. The rest
Right.
of them were not. I mean, yeah, they did a Fantastic Four. I'm sure they did a variety of films and shows or whatever, but they really
Sure.
weren't known. And I
No.
think that that's what that needed, because otherwise you're taking away from it. You're
Right.
taking away from that film. And I think that's exactly what happened with Rocky, that if you put James Caan in Rocky and Susan Sarandon and Adrian,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have had the same appeal,
Right.
because you really bought into the characters, the emotions, the love, all the above, because
Mhm.
it wasn't seeing an actor you knew. So it was
Right.
different. That's,
I don't.
again, my opinion. I
No,
could be
I
in the
agree. I don't
minority.
think anybody could have brought the doe eyes like Talia Shire did either.
Yeah.
You
No,
know, those
no, you're
big
right.
brown eyes. I mean, come on.
You're right.
I mean, it's like a looking glass. Just you can see her soul in those.
And I mean, and it's not like she was a nobody. I mean, she did Godfather and Godfather Part 2.
Right.
I mean, so she did 73 and 72 and 74, and then 76 is when they did Rocky. So it wasn't like she
Mhm.
was an unknown. Plus, obviously, everybody knows she's Francis Ford Coppola's sister. So
Okay.
she didn't have no connections to try to get the film,
Right.
but she was not a marquee name.
Right.
And that's what the studio was afraid of, not having a
Sure.
marquee name.
Sure.
And obviously, Sly proved them wrong.
Sure.
Which, thank God.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It could have went in so many different directions, and thank God it went in the right direction.
Yeah, it makes you think, if it did go in that direction and did not become the movie that it became, and did not become the series saga of Rocky Land that it became.
Right.
I think about things like this sometimes, like how would it have, all these people, these millions of Rocky fans that talk about, Rocky inspired me for this, inspired me for that, and made me want to do this and that and the other thing. Like, I wonder, like, how would it affect the normal average life? Did somebody maybe not, go for it because of Rocky, or
Sure.
would somebody, you know what I mean? I think about that. Like, I
Absolutely.
wonder how or if it would have mattered in lives of others.
Right. It has inspired millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, like we talked about a little bit earlier, was you come down and you're working out to the music. And when you hear the music, you can see these scenes in your head. He's lifting the bricks, he's running the rail yards, he's running the steps, he's running by the brick, he's just training, and that perseverance and what the obstacles he has overcome. And everyday people with everyday life look to that to get over their everyday problems.
And I don't know of another film saga that has inspired. Now, I know there's, fanatics about Star Wars and fanatics about, I think I had told you, I was watching a documentary on Back to the Future on how there's these conventions, and they have the DeLorean car contest and all this stuff. I mean, freaks about, fanatics about Back to the Future. Obviously, we know Star Wars and Star Trek is huge, things like that. But I don't know of any other one that is inspired and motivated or
No.
made somebody not quit, or made somebody do something that maybe they would not have done, but they were inspired enough and to do it because of that. I don't know of any other film.
Yeah, maybe you were in a dead end job and you're like, I am going to pursue other avenues, and Rocky gave you the drive to do so, or whatever it could have been, whatever health issue you might be going through, to know that, there's somebody in your corner. There's an angel on your shoulder. You know, absolutely. All these movies and TV shows, whatever, they can have their followings, but you are, in my opinion, absolutely correct. There's not one other show that I would look back to and be like, draw inspiration from. I don't know. I mean, am I ever going to be a test pilot or a pilot like Maverick and Top Gun? I love the movie, no doubt,
Right.
hands down. But
Right.
it seems to me what Sly put into this and what Rocky personifies is the fact that it's kind of like Batman in the sense. Okay, I'm going to go a little off track if I, but when you look at your superheroes, okay, can you be Superman? Can you be Green Lantern? Can you be Wonder Woman? You name it. But the average person, minus being a millionaire, could be Batman with the training. Okay. Just like to say, the average person can be Rocky by persevering, by training, by fighting, by getting through this everyday stuff. Every day, people are held down, and you have to fight your way up. And Rocky shows you can do that. You know,
and
you're going to have obstacles.
That's exactly the point. Like, I wonder if there'd be millions of people that did not do things because there was no Rocky. And it almost like It's a Wonderful Life. Like, you take out Rocky, how many different avenues would have been changed? And
absolutely,
not even just for Sly. Obviously, for Sly, it would have been devastating. But the average Joe, would I have not persevered through a certain thing in my life? You, whoever else, whether it be life threatening or just like you said, pursuing a different career, no matter what it was, how many people would not have done these things?
Right. Absolutely. Would we be here talking this?
No, obviously not. No.
Right. This has encapsulated our lives, our being, into a sense that I guess we're fanatics, but at the same time, it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking. It's, what would Rocky do? We can't that's what be held there, but
that's what brought me when I first started the Instagram page. Be honest with you, was to see how I could meet Sly.
Sure.
Because I knew he was on it a lot. I knew, there was maybe somewhere somebody posted, hey, Sly's filming so-and-so.
Sure.
So I started it for that reason alone. And then when I saw how many other rockheads out there were, and then you hear, Mike and Stacy invited me on the Rocky Files, as you were invited on as well. And you see these other people talk and tell their story. It's almost like all right, I'm not that crazy after all. There's a lot of other people that are like me, because, you see the people that every day, you get the eye rolls from the daughter. Dad, Rocky again. I know. Yeah. Keep moving forward, and, or the wife, we're flicking around. What do you want to watch? And how about Rocky IV? No, let's watch something else, please. But then you see that there's a whole world out there of, we're not that whacked out after all. But
there is.
But yeah, man, it's amazing. It's got to be bizarre to know you've affected millions of lives in a positive way.
Sure.
I don't know many people that could say that.
It's got to be very humbling for, if Sly was, and I'm sure he has, because we don't personally know him, but knowing the type of person that he is, I'm sure he's reflected and sat down. And not like, I'm the king poop or whatever, but just like, this has affected millions and not just the United States, but across the globe.
Oh yeah.
And that's got to be so humbling to him. I can only imagine, because I know if it was me, I would be completely in awe of it. Like, oh my God, my name is on the tip of everybody's tongue. It's right there. And I've affected how people live day to day. Not maybe every day, but in the decisions, some maybe important decisions they may make, or health crises, or
I think I speak for a lot of the Rocky land that I don't think a week goes by without there being some form of connection to movies in what you're doing, be it working out a little harder, being here bad news and how to handle it, whatever it may be. I don't think 7 days can go by. Like you said, maybe not
No,
daily, but I definitely think weekly. At some point during that week, there'll be
sure.
something that comes up that either makes me push a little harder or whatever it may be
Yeah,
for the week. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. It truly is. And just to circle back, there's not one other movie, that makes me reflect like that. There's many great movies out there,
Oh God, yeah, sure.
but nothing that impacts me day to day, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's
And
many
that's how I
others.
knew. That's how I knew I was such a freak about it. Was that I've watched. I probably watched Jaws a
I
thousand
love Jaws.
times.
I love Jaws.
Godfather, so forth, so on. But as many times as I've watched those, I don't get the same feeling as I do when, say, Adrian says win to Rocky, or
Right,
it's the 14th round of the first fight,
right,
things of that nature.
right.
It's still like I'm seeing it. How is that even possible that a movie that I have seen countless times in the past 30, 40
Sure.
years, whatever it's been, and it still makes me cheer or still makes me, sit in the chair and bob and weave or
Yeah,
whatever the case, whatever I'm doing, that's just crazy to me. It's
it is.
crazy.
It's tough, and it's tough to watch them. Like I stopped watching them later in the evening because I go to bed and I'm like, I can't turn my mind off. I'm like, you
All
know,
worked up,
I'm, I'm fighting Apollo,
right? It's crazy.
and it's like, oh my god, I can't watch them that late,
Right.
because it boils your blood. You're just like, you
Yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
go, and who the hell
Yeah.
wants to work out at 11 o'clock at night?
No, not me. Not at my
Not me.
age, anyway.
No,
This is a good one, my friend. This is another good show. I love
absolutely.
having you on.
Oh, I love being here. I love being
It's a
here.
good
This is great.
conversation. It just flows. I looked over at the clock. I'm like, holy crap, it's over 40 minutes already.
I, I'm trying to look, but I can't see it.
That's what happened before when I had no contacts.
So
But we'll
yeah,
put
I'll
your
go to
stuff up
these.
again
I'm
as
like,
usual here. We got,
holy
obviously if you
cow.
guys want a license plate, a license plate, I'm sorry, street sign, coaster, hat, t-shirt, stickers, whatever the case, that's the beautiful stuff that Rick makes. And you can
Thank you.
catch him here on Instagram at Bob33. And I saw the thing you put on the other day with the jacket and next to Sly with the jacket,
Yeah.
Rocky IV
I
thing.
think
That was
I
awesome.
think Stacy
That was
did that
great.
a while ago, and somehow it popped
Oh,
up
did
on my
she?
memories, and I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of cool." So I reposted it. Thanks, Stace.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
That's
came
awesome.
back around somehow, and I don't know. I just put it back up there, but in honor of Sly and Rocky, I had to,
There you
you know,
go. There you
had to
go.
do one.
Love it. Of
So
course. Of course.
absolutely,
All right, my
I've been
friend. Well, we'll be
waiting.
catching up again next week or the week after. I think next week see if Sophia can do the Elvis Graceland trip. If she can't, then we'll reconvene next week.
You
But
got it. I'm looking
if she
forward to
can,
the
then we'll be the
Elvis.
week after.
I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to the
it's gonna
Elvis
be
one
fun.
because let me tell you something. That movie was 3 times we've watched it.
Yeah,
Phenomenal. Been an
yeah, I
Elvis
loved it.
fan since a very young boy. Yep.
Yeah,
And I'm
same,
looking
same
forward
here.
to
I've been
that
an Elvis fan
episode.
since I was about 9 years old or so, give or take. He died when I was 11. But yeah, looking forward to it. Talking
Yeah.
about that, so it'll be good.
Do you
But I'll let
remember
you know. We'll figure out our
his
next.
last concert? Do you remember his
I'm
last
sorry.
concert? His last concert?
Hmm.
It was
Yeah.
televised worldwide, wasn't it? I
No,
believe.
not the very last one. No,
The second to last one,
not the.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yeah. The other
watching
one.
that. I remember watching that
Mhm.
on it was like on live TV or whatever, you
I
know.
think so.
Yeah. And he was supposed to
But
come
then
to
again,
Syracuse.
TV was supposed to be. TV was different back then. Like we talked about
Yeah.
a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
We watched Joe Frazier and Ali and
Yeah.
on Wide World of Sports. I mean, for free. So,
Right. Right. Yeah.
It was very
I'm looking
different.
forward to that one, Sophia. So bring the game.
I'll get with her and see if we're doing next week. And if not, I'll reach out to you. We'll talk about it and
You
then we'll
got
do
it.
it either way. All
Okay.
right, my friend. Always good having you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week.
You got it.
All righty. So as Rick said, next week I'm probably be doing the Elvis show with Sophia. We went to Graceland and talk about the Elvis movie. But if not, Rick and I will reconvene and we'll have another great show for you. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and hope to see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.